So, we've done some SCP reaction videos. You know what I'm saying? I've slowly been dipping my toes in the SCP world, trying to figure out what's going on. And it's a very interesting universe, SCP verse. Very, it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? Uh, what would you think? Hmm, if you were dating somebody, you know how there are clingy people, you know, saying, what would you think or what would you do if those clingy people uh weren't actually like they only wanted your attention because they didn't want to be alone. Because if they're alone, they don't know what they're gonna do. Because they always base their personality off, or they always base who they are off of who's around them. You know what I'm saying? So what would you do if your girlfriend wasn't actually a girl? Let me finish. LGBTQIA community. Let me finish. If your girlfriend wasn't actually a girl, but was like an alien or like a shapeshifter or some shit, what would you do? Here, let me just show you what video we're looking at. What does SCP-056 do alone while in containment? I I supposedly reacted to this video before, but also I like passed out while reacting to it, so I didn't upload it to YouTube. I deleted the video. We're gonna redo this. I don't remember the video, so we're gonna redo it. And don't ask me why I passed out. Let's just get it. Hold on. Give me a second. There we go. Come on. Come on. Wait for it. Holy shit. Come on. Bruh. What the fuck?
If beauty is in the eye of the beholder,
Holy shit. Finally.
if beauty is in the eye of the beholder, if beauty is in the eye of the beholder, then it is generally true that everyone would like to behold it at some point. Beauty can take many forms, and that much is especially true of SCP-056, also known by the appropriate title, A Beautiful Person.
Also, I find it interesting that well, I guess that is SCP explained, or whoever the writers were, or the, you know, whatever, the video. That's their. I think that is their type of woman, because personally, I make it look like an Asian chick.
The Euclid class SCP has an infamous tendency to combine its shape-shifting abilities with an incredibly condescending and haughty attitude towards other beings,
I'm the
while
best.
other shape-shifting
I'm the
anomalies
best.
use their powers to blend in with humanity or to hunt their unsuspecting prey. SCP-056 uses its powers for the sheer thrill of being better than whatever it is mimicking. The question is,
Yo, do you think all these SCPs are kind of like just skinwalkers? I think my cat might be a skinwalker. I think he knows I'm talking about him. I might be in trouble. If I don't make any more videos, then you know why. And if I do make more videos, then it's because I just trapped him and he said, oh shit, I can't kill him now because then other humans will know who killed him because of what you just said before you're saying this. Yeah.
Is what is the true form of this beautiful person when nothing and nobody is around to see it? You might be familiar with the old phrase, if a tree falls in a forest and nobody is around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Yeah, no.
Well, SCP-056 could have a variation of the phrase applied to it. What does beauty look like when there's nothing to compare it to? Or in other words,
Oh, that's good. What does beauty look like when there's nothing to compare it to? I gotta tweet that. What does beauty look like if there's nothing to compare it to? Yeah, that's a good. What does beauty look like if there's nothing to compare it to? The fuck? Where's? Why can't? How do I make a post? What the fuck? Oh, I don't want to look at that shit. How do I? Oh, just click that. Never mind. What does beauty look like when there there's nothing to compare it to? There. Shout out to SCP Explained. Did AI come with that for you? Did AI come up with that for you, or did you come up with that? Or did one of your writers come up with that?
what does SCP-056 do while alone in the containment chamber? The previous time the Foundation tried to sneak a peek at SCP-056 in its natural state, the clever researchers inserted a security camera into the room in the hopes of seeing the shapeshifter let its guard down. But SCP-056 was clever too, or at least audacious enough to mock the attempt, and transformed into a
So this isn't actually a person. It's not a living. Well, it's a living being, but it's not like a human. On the left over there, yeah, it's not an actual human.
or at least audacious enough to mock the attempt, and transformed into a security camera of much higher quality and stared back.
That's fucked up. You make a camera and you like point at your specimen, and your specimen turns into a camera of better high quality and looks right back at you like, yeah, you tried to do that shit, but you ain't shit compared to you. Still ain't shit compared to me. That's fucked up, yo.
Back. Additionally, the footage featured a glitch of low visibility to allow the transformation to take place unobserved, perhaps in an effort to protect what.
How did it control the atmosphere around it so that the other camera that was recording it went into a static? Nah, could only see static while it transformed. How? How is that good?
Passes for modesty for its arrogant self, SCP-056 never changes shape when it is being directly observed. While it would perhaps be a mischaracterization to describe SCP.
Hold on. Doesn't change shape when it's being directly observed. But isn't that a lot like scientists used to say that matter doesn't take shape until it's observed, in a way. Yeah. So she only acts when she takes shape. I'm trying to compare it to something, but I forgot what I was trying to do. Anyway.
SCP-056 as shy. The elusive nature of its true form has instilled a sense of wonder about it among many members of the Foundation staff. To be able to glimpse how SCP-056 behaves when left entirely to its own devices would surely be a memorable encounter. Could it be possible that 056 is even more beautiful than comprehension in its true and currently unknowable form, and that diminishing its own appeal down to merely being a step above its subject is just another extension of its insulting personality?
What if the SCP um only always appears beautiful because it's like doesn't feel good about its own looks? Like what if it just doesn't feel good about its like what if it's insecure? So it always wants to look better than the most attractive person in the room. Like what if it's actually like ugly as fuck just because whatever.
Or could it be that all the bullying and shaming that SCP-056 participates in is simply a cover for the fact that it is deeply embarrassed by its own true appearance? It is entirely possible that mocking and proclaiming itself better than others is a defense mechanism and smokescreen to keep its fragile feelings and ungainly shape from ever being exposed. While it would be hard to discern if either scenario is the actual truth, both possibilities present an adequate incentive for any observer to want to glimpse SCP-056 all by its lonesome. The intrepid voyeur who might cast a private gaze on SCP-056 could find themselves in witness to a beautiful sight that would bring them to
Are those weed leaves? I feel like those are weed leaves.
tears. Alternatively, it could confirm for them that all of the relentless teasing that had been endured by those in presence of SCP-056 could now be turned on the creature in a cathartic roast of revenge. With the assistance of hidden cameras, the Foundation may soon know the true limitations of SCP-056's shape-shifting ability. Of course, we couldn't let the so-called beautiful person know that it was being observed, so the new observation and security system was installed while 056 was distracted, using a stack of modeling magazines. These publications were placed on top of SCP-056 while it was in the form of a nicer couch than the one the Foundation had placed inside of its room. The Mobile Task Force agent that placed the magazines knew
It decided, you know what? No, I don't want to be a girl anymore. I want to be the nicest couch in the room because the couch looked nicer than the girl I was pretending to be. So I want to be a nicer couch than that couch. Can you imagine a couch looking better than you? A couch looking so good that it makes you want to become a better looking couch? Huh.
what to expect. As SCP-056 promptly shapeshifted into a buffer and more toned version of the agent while holding the magazines,
That's fucked up.
SCP-056 proceeded to make a series of disparaging comments about the original MTF agent's jawline, as well as implying that there was a dissatisfaction in his marriage, which stemmed from the fact that his spouse no longer found him attractive.
God damn.
Despite going in knowing that
Ouch.
this kind of verbal abuse was an occupational hazard in the containment of SCP-056, the MTF agent had already
056 went in. That's diabolical. That's diabolical, 056. That's uncalled for. Damn. Didn't have to do the man's like that.
been having a difficult day, and the shapeshifter's cutting comments stripped straight through his psychological armor. With tear-stained eyes and flailing limbs, the offended Mobile Task Force agent ran out of the containment unit weeping like a child. As the door auto-locked behind him, SCP-056 laughed with great hilarity at its successful torment of the man. The extent to which the beautiful person delighted in emotional damage could not be understated. This sadistic urge was likely the overriding purpose in its questionable biology.
Do you think she changes height with whoever walks into the room? Like, let's say somebody that really likes tall girls. Like, she'll change her height as soon as they walk into the room, and they won't even see her change her height. And then somebody, that really likes short girls walks in, then she changes her height to fit their needs. Since in each time it's a one-on-one, not multiple.
supplanting even the urge to eat and propagate itself. Though in the case of the latter, it is unlikely that SCP-056 would ever be willing to settle for mingling with anyone less beautiful than itself. Besides, if making others feel small and worthless was more a gratifying pastime, then why would SCP-056 want to share itself with any of its pathetic sycophants? Throughout numerous experiments, it was all but confirmed that SCP-056 preferred the feelings of being fawned over as opposed to acting on its own desires.
Okay, so if it only wants to be fawned over, well, somebody is like just not a simp. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. Do not simp for her or for it, and then it will cling to you and want to be with you. It will try to make it. It will constantly try to make itself more and more beautiful for you. As long as you don't simp for it, that's it. Just like any woman.
If any, it would rather take the form of a beautiful woman and have several men fight over it for its amusement than find companionship with any individual one of them. The only other desire that seems to put SCP-056 into action is its competitive streak, which seems to be part of the motivation behind its shapeshifting. Now that it was on film with the imperceptible camera, SCP-056's brazen drive to be the best was on full display. It flipped through the pages of the various modeling magazines that had been left for it, disappearing behind furniture and reappearing in new shapes, mimicking the human beings depicted within. The looks of each of the stunning, gorgeous clothing models were somehow improved upon when SCP-056 put its own spin on them. It was as if SCP-056 had a way of pinpointing the exact flaws that the
Now that would be great as a like if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to sell dresses or outfits or some shit. Just like make the design, give it to SCP-456 or whatever, or 056, and then whatever it changes into, whatever it design, like how it changes the design of whatever you made, change the that gives you the idea to change the design of whatever you made into whatever SCP-056 made it look like, and so that way your design is upgraded. And you can probably continue that process as long as SCP-056 changes what the design is in order to make it look better. You can continue that process for that amount of time and then sell the dress for lots of money. That's a business idea right there.
the models themselves would have wished to wash away, even without having any in-person interaction with its subject. Even minute details like the size of eyes and eyelashes and the glossiness of hair were easily altered to create a more appealing persona. The research staff watched on in rapt amazement, all but
Bro, you could date any girl in the world, every girl in the world, every girl out of this world, if you manage to bag SCP-056 as a partner.
forgetting that the purpose of this new surveillance plan was to sneak a peek at SCP-056's true form. It seemed even more distant, as SCP-056 flounced around the containment unit, shifting from model to model in an extravagant show of vanity. At one point, 056 even turned into a higher quality magazine, with pages filled with highly informative and exhilarating articles on a variety of subjects. The observing staff dared not turn their eyes away from the camera. The shared excuse through the room was that at any second, SCP-056 might reveal something new that would be groundbreaking for the research of the anomaly, and it was at least partially true.
But at the same time, imagine getting paid to sit there and watch an alien transform into different looks. I would love that. Oh, yo, this thing is always looking like a beautiful woman. What else can it turn? What else will it turn into? What if it like? What's the worst thing that could look? That it might turn into. I gotta see this shit. You just sit there the whole entire time. Yo, give me some popcorn, bro. Give me some popcorn. Yeah. Like the entire time, bro, just chilling.
True, since the beautiful person did have more to reveal, and the staff was more than eager to see. Send in another magazine, said Dr. Carty, wiping the sweat from his brow. Do it. A series of solemn nods spread through the room, and from the depths of the office's collective stash of personal materials, a new magazine was found and agreed upon as the next phase of the plan to see SCP-056 bear it all. The contents of this magazine were to be kept strictly classified outside of the parameters of the test, both for the dignity of the Foundation staff.
I thought it was called Bear It All, but it's only allowed to the staff. Bear it all to just the staff.
And also for the monetization viability of SCP Explained. Rest assured, however, it was chosen for the ample potential of research.
Also for the monetization viability for SCP Explained. The SCP Explained is the channel that we're watching, by the way. I think we'll be in the description below. But yeah, it's funny.
Research material that it would provide when given to SCP-056. When the next guard dropped off the magazine, he endured a further barrage of insults and humiliation from 056, which had chosen to remain in the form of a beautiful model, as it deemed it would make the audible slings and arrows sting far more. With another guard's self-esteem destroyed, the secretive magazine had been planted and the real test was about to begin. SCP-056 approached the forbidden tome and perused its contents, taking its sweet, delicate time with each page turn. From their vantage point in the surveillance room, the research team was overcome with anticipation. It was only a matter of time until SCP-056 took on its spiciest form of all, which would obviously be its true form, after all. Yes, that is indeed what they were all waiting for. Pick your jaw up off the floor and pay attention. Of course, unbeknownst to all of the onlookers, SCP-056 had been aware of the presence of the tiny camera from the beginning. The anomaly had a sixth sense for when it was being perceived, no matter how minuscule the apparatus or how inconsequential the viewer. All of this dramatic posing and flaunting the forms that were available to it had been an elaborate ploy for the thing it wanted most of all: attention. If it led on that this was part of its plan, SCP-056 ran the risk of discouraging its peeping audience. To many seekers of beauty, there were always more enticing about the idea of seeing something that wasn't meant to be seen, and SCP-056 knew this instinctively. The Foundation would ordinarily never dedicate so much time to mere ogling, but by deftly exploiting the scientific curiosity of the staff, the beautiful person had wrapped them all around its polymorphic finger. But apprehension and hype alone could not keep the performance entertaining forever. So 056 made things move along by taking on the form directly from the pages of the sorted magazine. Specifically, the middle 2 pages, aka the centerfold. The entire research team was dazzled, unable to pull themselves from the monitor. For some of them, this was the greatest workday that they had ever experienced. In its centerfold form, SCP-056 winked coytishly and strode around the containment chamber, giving the research team an eyeful of itself from every beautiful angle. It had them now. It had proven once again that it was truly superior being amongst a world of pathetic uggos, and it was exactly where it belonged.
The most superior being in the world full of uggos. Bruh. That's fucked up. That's so fucked up. Yes, look at me. I am the most superior being in your world full of uggos. Of course you love me. Worship me as the goddess that I am. God damn, bro, that's harsh.
Admired by many on a stage of its choosing. Back in the surveillance room, an SCP Foundation intern named Dave burst through the door, panting and fearful.
God damn
None
it,
of the
Dave.
researchers even looked behind themselves at the entrance of the low-level personnel, as they were all still transfixed by SCP-056's movements.
Yo, Dave might save the day.
What are you all doing in here? Intern Dave wheezed. There's been a containment breach! A moment of tense silence passed. Then Dr. Carty raised one of its hands and dismissed the intern with a simple wave. Not now. Dave was stunned with shock. It was a containment breach, the first he had ever seen in his short time at the Foundation. Lives were on the line. Didn't his—
Yeah, and they weren't doing shit because they were too entranced by a woman's beauty. But this is why I say that every man needs to be desensitized to a woman's beauty. That way they don't fall for bullshit like that.
Superiors know about this? Maybe this is what the SCP Foundation is really like? Thought the intern. He was about to leave when he considered the alternative. Perhaps whatever Dr. Carty and the rest of the research team were looking at was more important than the current containment breach. After all, delegation was a key part of running an organization with such a wide purview of tasks. A bit of pride for his superiors swelled within intern Dave's heart, and he bravely took a step forward to see what was being observed on the monitors. His eyes bulged with excitement as they fell upon SCP-056 in centerfold form. "I think I'll take a bath now." Tee-hee, SCP-056 giggled. A wave of joyous brotherhood passed through the surveillance chamber, and high fives were passed around like shakers of salt. Intern Dave, however, was crestfallen. He was certainly mesmerized by the beauty of SCP.
Is Dave gay?
P056's form, but
Oh no, he's just red pilled.
even that could overpower the profound disappointment he felt towards the others. He got Dr. Carty's attention with a swift punch to the researcher's arm and launched into an angry rant to vent his frustrations. "Have you forgotten what the SCP Foundation is all about? You're all just watching silly stuff like this in the middle of a workday. Was that the plan? Is this what I should expect from all of you? Foolish distractions and provocative bait? What about the containment breach, the lore? I thought I knew what I was signing up for, but you're not scientists or researchers. You're all just a bunch of peeping toms." Intern Dave ran out of the room in a huff. Dr. Carty was tempted to respond, but the sound of running water put his attention back towards the screen with SCP-056. For obvious reasons, we cannot show you or even describe in depth the bubble bath that SCP-056 was taking.
Fair enough, SCP explained. Fair enough. Although I wish you could show me, and I wish you could describe in detail, but you don't want to get demonetized. I understand.
But we can assure you that it was hot and steamy, literally. It was an objective scientific fact that the water was quite a high temperature and the room was filled with a curtain of steam.
Damn.
Any other details that might
I missed all that. I don't know if I can forgive you, SCP explained. I don't know if I can forgive you. I didn't deserve to miss all of that. I didn't deserve to.
enter the conversation must be left entirely up to the imagination of the viewer. While the research team was captivated, SCP-056 decided to gloat aloud about just how much better than the centerfold model it was. It began to give away all the secrets of how it
Just like a woman.
enhanced its form, making it clear that it had elevated itself beyond the scope of any human beauty standards and into the realm of perfection. And then, as it rose from the tub and grabbed its towel, SCP-056 looked directly into the camera. "I hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did," SCP-056 said in a sultry voice of the centerfold. A glitch in the system followed, and immediately after, the containment chamber had 2 bathtubs inside of it, one of which was of an obviously much higher quality than the first. The researcher stood at attention, realizing that this entire time there had been no new discoveries waiting for them. SCP-056 had strung them along for an ongoing performance that wouldn't add anything useful to the data logs of the anomalies file. "By God, that intern was right about us." Dr. Carty slammed his fist onto the console of the surveillance system, his body filled with tension and high blood pressure. "What have we become?" The research team departed swiftly to go and assist the rest of the site with whatever containment breach had thus far escaped their notice. The risks of working with such a wide variety of SCPs was that dedicated attention to each was often in short supply. SCP-056's most devilish trait was that its ability to temporarily monopolize all of that attention for itself. It was an anomalous creature that thrived on perception and quite possibly found the concept of being alone or unobserved to be entirely alien. This is why its most natural form was subjective, and why the beautiful person always strived to draw other beings towards it. Without a world full of inferior beings, SCP-056 would effectively
Without a world full of inferior beings? God damn. You call it inferior? The fuck?
not exist. 056 was blessed, or perhaps cursed, to always be in competition with the best choice of specimen that it had mutual visual access to. Its every action and reaction was a constant blur of chasing an unattainable ideal and grabbing approval from the masses for it. Much like the concept of beauty itself, SCP-056 was protean and dependent on the whims of others. It existed simply because it was desired.
Isn't that part of like the deadly sins? No, I would say it's not, because vanity, that's pretty much vanity. Vanity is not one of the seven deadly sins. But what can we relate it to? As far as these seven deadly sins go, it's gluttony, sloth, greed, wrath, envy. I always forget the last two. Hold on. We're looking it up. Seven deadly sins. Pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. So pride and greed were the ones that I forgot. So pride and greed, lust, gluttony, envy, sloth, and wrath. None of that is really vanity. Pride, I guess, would fall under vanity, right? Like vanity is just like is a segment of pride, wanting to be the prettiest, the most beautiful.
Now go check out Why Would It.
So if you're falling for the one of the seven deadly sins, if you're letting that shit get to you, then it's no wonder why you become what you become.
Suck to know SCP-056 and SCP-978 Desire Camera.
And that's the end of the video. Make it dull all up. I'm not saying I'm going to react to that because the thumbnail's hot. I'm just anyway. Yeah. As always, link to the video that we just watched and link to the channel will be in the description below. So shout out to SCP Explained. You know what I'm saying? Good video, good shit. And yeah. As always, don't forget to do those 3 things I like to ask you to do, and like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it is after that. In case I don't see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Peace. And much love to you.